sneak their way in. Will IWNRX continue to just look unbeatable?
And I think that we've been looking a lot of IWNRX, and we had a little discussion, a little bit of a chin wag, let's say, before this game. And it does feel like because they're so secure, they are just going for the teams underneath them, right? The teams that are looking to move into that top 4, they're taking them out. But it's not D plus Kia, Brute Force, or Team Falcons they're worried about. They're worried about Harame, DRX, Besiktas. These are the teams that they're going after, teams that they think are relatively weak right now, that they can easily beat, because they are so far ahead that if they can just secure Twisted Minds, TJB, maybe another team underneath them, which feels a little bit undecided at this point in time, that's fine, because they're going to stay at the top. So if they can enable those teams, this is great. This is good news for them.
Yeah, try and keep that distance between them and everyone else so bolstered off of smart tactical fights.
They're just influencing the top 4 right now.
Yeah.
But it's intelligent because it will sit them at the top, nice and safe, not give anyone an opportunity at a bang a day out of nowhere.
No, they're controlling the flow of the games. And it's not only because of the smart decision making and sweet moves they're making, it's also because of those GT20 pros, Blank.
144 Hertz. Taking us to the next level, to the extreme, because some of these players are having to play at that extreme, like we heard from Didinho. It's important, it's imperative. And for some of these teams, they have found that sweet spot, all right? The money position where you want to be in, where you're playing at your highest caliber, and you just feel in the game. You are in the game, you're totally immersed.
You hit that flow state, you're able to make the right decisions, rely on your gut. The communication's flowing, everything's good, comms are pumping out, no one's jittering. You've had long enough now to acclimatize to the stage as well. So breezing your way through here, knowing that you're running in the tournament itself is still going, it can do a whole lot for your mental game when the games pick back up, when we know our top 4 that have withstood the test of the survival stage.
All right, now that top 4, basically between TJB, D plus Kia, and Brute Force. Falcons just seem to me be making too many mistakes for a team that is well known as an incredible squad. It just feels like some of these mistakes that they've been making, it just feels weird. It feels very weird to me.
Yeah, there's been some little issues here and there, problems that have been cropping up, and other teams have been taking advantage of that with the fights they've been taking to them. Always feels like there's 2 sides surrounding them in every encounter we switch to when we get the Falcons POV. Never an easy fight.
Moneymakers consistently dropping down the rankings despite what felt like some good rotations yesterday and getting themselves set up, just never hitting those big points. And Team Spirit have actually overlapped them now in terms of points at 33. But again, another good game from Team Spirit is what they're looking for on Erangel. This is the best place to do it, a fair map to work with. But I'm still looking up towards that top side. D plus Kia, it would be nice to see them in that main tournament, representing Korea over on that side. Brute Force, though, could always just pop off, but it feels like they're being shut out so many times from these teams.
Having some unlucky runnings. Got an X on their back in a few of the fights they go for. Towards the bottom end, it's been very uncomfortable for a few of these squads. Rook feel like they're basically just being passed around as the squad that teams know they can steal some easy elims off early. Always feels like they're down to a duo in the establishing moments. Inco, they were given a couple opportunities to maybe have games, maybe have moments, but they crumble in the moments.
I mean, that last game, even just getting that northeast edge and then being crashed on by Team Spirit, who arguably, you know, sat down there with Inco as the worst performing teams, just to get taken out by that feels really rough. I mean, QXZ's not getting that vehicle back off. It's back there, fully turtled up.
Hasn't got the momentum to roll side to side. Always a sad sight for sore eyes. The vehicle on its back like the mighty Galapagos turtle.
The mighty, but not so mighty when it's rolled over. And my eyes are feeling pretty sore after that one, and only sorer.
I should probably blink.
I do love going from like the loud noises of a roaring engine to sweet cadence on a bicycle.
That's what we've got here at PUBG Mobile. It's Bicycle Cam segment. with Pandem. If you enjoy cycling, make sure to get regular scheduled time outside, cycling around, getting that vitamin D, and enjoying the high life of exploring nature in beautiful Erigau.
Make sure you get home as well. Yeah. Safe and sound, just like Pandem here.
Don't forget to padlock your bike somewhere safe.
Don't forget to pick yourself up a Pepsi Max.
Yeah, stay hydrated out there.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated.
Quench your thirst with Pepsi Max.
That was good. We'll see. Maybe we can get you to do an ad read.
I could do.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm a big fan of Pepsi Max, to be fair. I've been caning them.
Yeah. There's a Pepsi Max graveyard under the cast today.
There is, dude. The other day I was like, I think I'd had so many. There was a point where I went back and was like, there's no more Pepsi Maxes. And I only had me to blame.
Yeah, you've taken them all.
I couldn't even blame anyone else. It was my fault.
It's ridiculous, mate. Let's see if this will be a maximum maneuver here, though, from D+ Kia. Taking shots uphill. Harame broke. They could buff that one out. Bit of damage to the actual bodywork of the vehicle. Bit of damage to the actual bodies, but still alive, still kicking.
Yeah, Circle's kind of in a position where it could head down towards Sosnovka, but it's not likely to. So a lot of teams trying to pick up these compounds that sit over towards the cliff face. Potentially even rocking up over towards the rocks. See what it did there? But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to play some strong positions on this south side of the map, which I like to see. Falcon's already in those spots after moving out from Sosnovka on Novorepnoye way. Twisted Minds, yeah, it's been a nice survival stage for them. Consistently making good plays. Well, I think that's the main thing to look at. Even that last game where they were dropped down to one member, he still performed admirably well in those final moments to pick up some more eliminations in what was pretty terrifying position for himself.
Yeah, he was in a horrific spot. Was able to stretch out the game for as long as he could, try to squirrel away elims where possible. Ooh, talking of elims though, Besiktas Black, they're moving uphill. Ooh, hello, quick maneuver there. That was a Texas two-step. He's dodged the bonnet of the car, been able to turn on him. Uh-oh. This is Grand Theft Auto Blank, but they're taking the points with it as well. Nades back onto them. Topstick going to get that one right on target. And he's moving in with a shotty. Wants to see if he can build this back up now.
This is a really big fight as well for D+ Kia. Losing members off the back of this one feels very bad for a team that is on the cusp of making their way into the top 4. Very difficult. I mean, they lose one player. It's not the end of the world, but Osal has been making some pretty clean plays to set up players like K on this squad. And Besiktas will just send away here. We'll get some pot shots out the back of the car, though. A little bit of an angry play as they leave.
The gangster move. Take a few shots, hop in the car, wave goodbye.
The literal drive-by. Nice to see.
See if they can post up cool.
CAG Osaka won an elim on the game, but they do lose another play. And it feels like a lot of our squads towards the top side of the lobby are suffering quite a bit here, Jackie. Will they suffer much more as we get this next circle shift? And it's a hard one. Over towards the western side. Sets up the moneymakers, potentially. Teams like Tongjiabao, Mad Bulls, Team Spirit, all going to have to face the tide, the wave of players that'll be coming in from that eastern edge. Might want to move further towards that eastern side.
This is where you got to be fast and furious when you arrive. It's going to be no easy control of the map here. There for so many quads. Rapidly repositioning. D+ Kia. They're not out of position. They get a clean line of sight from the rotate from Besiktas Black. Put the bullets into the back of the vehicle. Now already, bear in mind, for the fights they've been thrown into this one, you're down to just a duo. So you do not want to have it taken out of your hands here. Ooh, nipping on the tails of Inco as well. They spot them over the ridgeline and realize they need to course correct, find safe ground.
It's a tough maneuver as well for Besiktas to make because the vehicle is smoking. It's close to exploding. So they don't need to get far into this circle, or at least somewhere they can stay consistently for the rest of the game. And they do go boom.
Blown to bits there as they were spotted by Mad Bulls. Seeing red. That was the little sidestep that we saw as well. That was how the initial damage was done onto Besiktas.
Yeah, tough moment there. Luckily able to get Toshpik back up on his feet somehow, some way. Must have left the vehicle, and just as they left it, the explosion went through. But there was no follow-up from Mad Bulls up the hill. Don't want to expose their position too much by taking a fight which might open them up to a third party. Brute Force spotting over towards Inco. But yeah, we are centering up around Pachinki at the moment. There's the field over towards that western side, the chopsticks potentially in play late game, but this still can go all over the shop. Falcons cowering down towards the water side, looking over towards Twisted Minds, who just rocked up in the warehouses. Nice shot from top, though. Headshot from long range in the warehouse.
It's a good opener. Takes the top off. Headshot. Man's been training to be a photographer with that one, as he will get that opening tap onto Twisted Minds. They've got cover. Got a bit of distance between them as well. I'm going to see if they can recover things. They do get him back up. There was no secondary peek off the back of Falcons. At least they've assessed the lay of the land and know exactly where Twisted Minds are.
Yeah, the difficulty here for Twisted Minds is the retrieval of the position, really, because at some point they're going to have to leave. They're going to be exposed to the sights from Falcons. Unless it's an incredibly hard shift on the next circle, it's likely that Falcons will be just right on the boundary, which we'll see right now. At the moment, Brute Force taking shots over towards Inco on that northern side. Tongjibao, Team Spirit, slap bang in a pretty tough spot for themselves, but they are keeping their cool in this location. Laid back, waiting for the action to start. Twisted Minds, they take a knock as they try to make that maneuver outwards. And this is what I'm talking about here. They might be able to get their boy back up. Really depends on how much room these other teams give them.
Everyone's grouping quite close together now with the limited space that's becoming available to set yourself up. In CAG Osaka, they were on the move down. DRX off to the distance. Tongjibao nearby as well. Falcons still firing off the warnings towards Twisted Minds in the meantime. And everyone's scurrying to grab themselves some land, some cover to play with. Now the circle begins to close in.
Again, forcing teams out of position. Pachinki's still in this circle, as is the field that sits over towards its east side. And you've got some of that high ground that currently Moneymakers are split across underneath Pachinki. Other than that, pretty flat ground. You have that dip over towards that eastern side as teams don't really want to head over towards DRX's position all that much. They know that you can be exposed to so many positions in that area. Teams just keeping their cool. Twisted Minds were able to make it out. They know where Falcons are roughly, and this seems like a bit of a bold push to me.
We'll see if it pays off. Already here you take damage. That's not the ideal start to things, as Icy gets shot down by the Mini 14, and a connection will result in them trying to play for the quick pick-me-up. Smoke's going down. That was off this angle here, way back towards the coastal ridge, playing off the top of the rocks for Pandem. Little snaps, little taps with the Mini 14.
Technically a really strong warehouse to play if the circle moves down towards that southern edge. So I think for Falcons, they're going to try and set themselves up for a big chicken on the back of a circle shift. But again, this is feeling like it could go anywhere, and there's a lot of positions inside this circle which can open up for strong finishes. This compound that sits just on the south side of the field that DRX are currently in, over towards this north side of the map, very nice, as is the one that Besiktas have been able to pick up as two, though, so very crashable, I would say. Plus Kia looking over towards Rook, though.
Nades in to open it up. Close, but not quite on the money yet. Instead, it's Chips that's going to be able to hit heavy with a peek from the sideline and deal damage back onto the Rook. The quick reposition as well. Keep them pinned from pillar to post, so they're trapped down the middle. Split the angles up. The zone ushering them in as well. So you've got to hop in the vehicle. You're taking damage from that right over the rock side. D plus Kia hard commit onto the weakened players, and they're able to deal with it.
Nice plays from D plus Kia. Get themselves a fair few elimination points for them as well. Brute Force out in the wind. We're looking for a bit more, but down to low HP, and they'll have to move out. IWNRX get themselves a very sick position down towards this south side.
Sitting pretty. The compound they've been able to confiscate from the other players. Concessions will need to be made for everyone else. You've got to think about getting a move on here. Bit of a chase going on as well. TJB nipping at the heels of the rotate from CAG Osaka, but that's right on the edge line of that setup for IWNRX. So if they can get their eyes on it, they could potentially steal away some points. That's what Moneymakers are also trying to do. You've got TJB trapped now. They scatter back, tuck in behind the van.
Yeah, for TJB, they know how much these games mean to them. They are so close towards that top four. CAG Osaka, you said they moved in already and they've got themselves a position on the eastern side, but this circle is really unforgiving. A lot of times you're going to see quite a few teams trying to head up and create these car compounds on the base of the hill, just on the roadside, but that's not too possible right now with Moneymakers heading up that high ground. So teams on the outer edge likely going to wait for the next circle to hit and then make a bold move after.
Those bullets over from the Moneymakers do connect onto TJB in the end. Once again, knock a player back down. There's the detonation that Brute Force were gambling on, though. And that's gigantic for them. Brute Force, down on numbers, but playing smart. That's an entire steal away the opportunity. Everyone was grouped up behind the vehicle.
Entire team just goes down off the back of that. That is disgusting. TJB shaking their heads of disappointment in that game. They almost set themselves up for a good one. Up the hill as well, splattered on the front of the vehicle. D plus Kia leave a smear of root behind.
That is a filthy play. Despicable scenes from Brute Force. Living up to their name on that one.
Vehicle uppercut. Kind of disgusting.
Sent him into the air. Rame, bro, though, close towards Spirit. Off the back of the highlights, we'll give you a second to breathe, focus back into the gameplay that's occurring before us. Spirit looking to defend, they spot him on the angle. Cleave round the corner with the butcher knife for the DBS, but no clean connection yet. Federales given the opportunity, trying to bait him out with the sound cues, making loud footsteps round the corner, see if you can get him off the heel. But he sticks to his guns, holds down the bottom with the SMG. Kanomi get the connection off. There's the first tag, Molotov through the window. He dives around the corner, but the refrag's good.
Wow, this is a nice play as well. They're able to get all their players back up on their feet. 2 limbs accrued, but again, there's more action over towards that western side, and they're about to get pushed in by the blue itself. So a tough rotate for Team Spirit. Falcons waiting in the wing down towards that south side.
Twisted Mind moving in on IWNRX at Wizard Tower, and he's casting magical spells to make Twisted Minds disappear.
Team Spirit, they lose Kitsune on the cross. Still keeping 3 players though. Falcons always had a good idea of where they were, and Mad Bulls off in the distance on their north side. A 3v4, not an easy fight versus an aggressive team.
Spirit, limited cover to work with. Belly's down on the ground. Fleeke trying to get a bit of a spot on the ridge here from the vehicle. Ready for a quick getaway if he has to put the pedal to the metal. Naomi peering over the rock, sharing the utility and ammunition that remains below them.
So a real question mark to be had for Falcons is whether they head back down towards that south side or continue to pressure up towards Team Spirit. There's nades going the top as Mad Bulls continue to try and jump spot this position. Nades going through now, back and forth, and I think a spot has come through there. I think a vehicle has been located for Team Spirit. They might be able to dip out, but it will have to be one hell of a rotate for them. Get into the circle, there's a shot from top though, onto effect, that's from behind, and it looks like the guys from Falcons are looking to just send on in. I think they realize they need to just send away, look for the survival play here at this point in the game. How likely is it to happen though, as Naomi barely gets away with his life?
Everyone's getting detonated out of commission as the engine blocks are giving out and the players are crumbling over the heat that rises up from the carcass of the vehicles. Effect finally finished off for good. Naomi trapped, one man versus the world with everyone surrounding him. Falcons and CAG now focus their attention on one another.
CAG, they set up the landmark in front of them, put down the reinforced walls. It's up to Falcons to break through them. Hit them with a strong punch and get into the melee with CAG Osaka. But Mad Bulls are creeping down on that north side, and it's something you've got to worry about. Smart from Naomi. I think he realizes they're in pursuit.
Try to get out of dodge. The rest of the squad's moving up. They know they need to get that right angle to open up the engagement, be able to get that heavy first hit off to then commit with the full squad and overwhelm when you're at the manpower advantage. Potential points here in Naomi as he's scattering back, drops down to the ground. Zerich really commits to the punish, and that's the sideline sweep coming in as they get the tag back onto him and CAG deal damage to the Mad Bulls.
Naomi tapping big brother CAG Osaka on the shoulder saying, look man, they're hurting me, dude. I need some help, but they will finally go down in 9th place, so not many points accrued from this match for Team Spirit. And they are left down towards the dirt on the bottom side of the lobby as Pandem starts to get ahead. So do Mad Bulls with 4 elims on the game. Only really the top dogs at the moment is Falcons. Now, a lot of people have been waiting for a performance here, and Falcons look a little bit more on point, but that nade is nasty.
Ah, it's a filthy one. Primed and on target. Blows away their opportunity to aggress initially. Now they're starting to hemorrhage players. The nades are ruining them. Falcons, their wings blown off. Their chance to keep pushing on this opening being ripped away. The DBS up close. Silences the driver. Needs to look for the rest of the squad as they just pelt him with nades.
I see once again in this position where it's just him alive, trying to keep his team at bay, but the shots coming through from the sidelines. Nurzed desperately trying to keep the Mad Bull at bay, taken by the horns here, but it's just not working out. Matten even taking huge amounts of damage as Mad Bulls are capitalizing off the back of this engagement.
Oh, English, he's getting up close. I mean, he's found the opportunity to close the distance, but there's so many targets that he's got to be aware of. He takes the correct play, hits the head back onto another one. Little bit of damage done now as the Falcons start to get absolutely torn to shreds. English still bobbing and weaving. CAG, they might be down to a solo, but they're not out of the fight. Fleeke, however, will be removed by DRX that have now arrived on the scene.
DRX hero is fine. They can't let it just happen. They need to get involved. This is a big fight that they're hearing on this side. Lovely nade will take down Fleeke, leaving Mad Bulls at just the one player now with English. This was the smart move from DRX, and a lot of the aggression that we lacked from this team in the group stage. So just let things happen around them as opposed to having any kind of influence on it. And they've had such a good position for so long, but now it's time to spread that influence on the map.
Can they build from the stepping stone they presented for themselves here? If they could rack up the elims, play for the big picture of the chicken dinner here at the halfway point of the last day of survival stage, DRX could still show that they can go toe-to-toe in the middle of the cell. The nades are what's giving them edge here. English, the last man for the Mad Bulls, might be blown to pieces. He's trapped between both squads. As Nurzed's lurking in the wings. The solo on top of the other solo, waiting to see if he can punish on it. As they push up, he could have a prime time to peek. Deal a bit of damage back onto DRX. That's the commit on the engagement. He doesn't want any piece of the pie.
DRX not in a bad spot actually on this game. 46 points. They have a position to climb here on the ladder. The difficulty is whether you're going to get too much further into the game, because IWNRX setting up towards that central position of the map, a team that is fearsome, terrible to come by.
They can really inflict some big blows. And Inko surviving deep into this one. Do they have the overall flow to make maneuvers? That's the location of the last man for Falcon. Spotted out, DRX taking down their competitors. As Falcons are finally removed, you can restock, reset, and see if you can build from this then. So this is what we're left with. IWNRX. Are they going to be in position again to have a power play, steal away another win, further inflate the points they've already racked up here in the survival stage?
If they win this game, they're done. They've basically got themselves safe into that top 4, and they will be going through to the main tournament without a doubt at this point in time. I mean, it was already shaky, to be honest with you, whether they would even go out. But I think after this game, we can pretty safely say that there's no way they're going to be dropping out from the top 4 at this point. But for Inco, this game, again, is much akin to what we saw from Team Spirit on that last match. It's such an important game to set themselves up for the last 3 matches of the day, where they would have to have banger games back to back to back. But with 2 elims, it's really not going that well so far. A nasty bounce on the tree. The geometry works in their favor.
Oh, that's huge for them. Get those elims build closer to potentially getting the chicken dinner and having points to play with. Inco looking switched on right now. They've got a good assess on where everyone is, where they can take shots from, trying to push further in towards IWNRX after fragmenting the squad and leaving them down to the duo. But they start to suffer knocks back. Sideswipe from DRX. They see that they're going all in, and they want Inco to start to crumble. They attack the Lions, take down one, move up from IWNRX now as well. They're starting to get back over, looking to see if they can save Zedwolf, but he's so far out of position. They've not got the smokes to work with on it, and DRX are taking on both squads at the same time.
I like that from IWNRX, though. They don't invest the smokes that they know they'll need for later on until it's kind of secured. They're going to pick up Zedwolf, but with the way that the boys from Inco bouncing nades off the bark, sweet trigonometry for them. Hyunbin, another nade goes over the top, puts the hurt into IWNRX, and this now looks like a game where Inco just might be able to squeeze some points out of it. They've played so slow, but now they need the chicken dinner on top.
Are they hungry for it? Can the lion's claws come out? The caged animal. Show how powerful it can be when it feels threatened in a game like this. DRX, 4 players alive. They've got the battle of attrition on their side. They found opportunities to take smart fights, already racking themselves up 7 elims. If they can build off the back of it and take the chicken dinner, they'll be sitting pretty and try and push themselves up towards the latter end of the day. Try and have a pathway to stay alive and withstand the test of the survival stage that so many teams have already crumbled under the pressure of.
And Inco, so far, that pressure has been mounting, and like you say, caged without the key, scrambling around the dark, looking to see where it's been thrown. Hyunbin, more damage through to IWNRX, which is the true villain in this circle right now. Could be the cause of misery for both these teams, where they're sat at the top, grinning down evilly, having the chance to twist fates in this game for Inco and DRX on the sidelines. 7 moves forward in the buggy, identifying positions. We saw much of the same versus their endgame versus Mad Bulls. We're able to get a very clear idea of the lay of the land off the back of that scouting. And it was instrumental to their finish.
It worked out to give them the info for the nade into the tree line. It means that DRX have backed off. Now they switch their attention. Nice. And that is on point. Big nade. Claps down on IWNRX. Pressure already starting to mount. A bit of panic station scenarios now, and they're going to keep throwing in those nades. They want to hard confirm that one. Get another all-important elim and leave it just on the one man. He scatters. He tries to dip out. DRX from the back, but they can't get the initial tag out. That's going to be snatched again by Inco. All on the head-to-head. 3 versus 4. Is there anything that you can do here, Inco? If you can bring it back, or will it be DRX that make their move up? Start to farm those points and grab that chicken dinner. There's the move in from 7, baiting out the crosshairs. Wants them to take a peek so his teammates can get the shots off. They wait for the move. Nice nade over the top. Nunez eating the majority of the damage, goes for the backup. There's the tag onto it. They first for it as well. Down to 2 now. The Lions crumbling to the might of DRX.
A 2 versus 4, a difficult game. DRX brought the passive nature to this, but it was Inco with the aggression. But they've gone a little bit too hard on this one, and now they have a terrible task on their hands. The question remains, can they get an opener? These nades have been good so far versus IWNRX. There's the first one, a 3v4 now. Immediately hits the second.
They got to pounce off the back of the opening you've given yourselves. So much damage done. They know they're weak. They know they can buckle them.
What
The
is
push up
happening?
with the shotgun. That's how you make it work. 7 strikes with the DPS. DRX are buckling, and the Lions of Inco are rising onto their hind legs. They need one foul swoop. It could still be a winnable game. They slow down the pace for DRX. They look to recoil and try and reset, seeing if there's an opportunity. The nades that have been so prime go in again, but it's off target.
Last one in the pocket as well. The pin was pulled, but there's no more to work with here. Similarly for DRX, this is going to be a battle of attrition. 7 on the other hand, he's still got ordnance to work with. It goes wide, but he gets a tag. That's a bit of information, Jackie.
This could be a big one as well. Slightly shallow. Splash damage done. Fragments their HP. Sends them scatter. That one's good as well. The nades from Inco have been the money for them. That's been the difference. But look at the play. 7 in the buggy. He gives no damns about his own self-preservation. He just wants to kick off the fight and instigate a potential game-winning play. As we see the flick up, that's the damage back. And DRX in the end, barely by the fingertips, clutch on to the chicken dinner.
Unbelievable maneuvers there from Inco. You can see how hungry this